Hello, I'm here Extra and welcome back to the video. So 1.8.0 just came out for Minecraft Bedrock, and with it came a brand new item called the bamboo. Getting a bamboo is kind of tricky in the current update because you have to fish in jungles or you have to kill a panda, both of which are kind of tricky things to do. But once you have one bamboo, you can easily turn it into 2 bamboo, into 3 bamboo, into 4 bamboo, and so on and so forth. And I figured, given one of my favorite things in Minecraft is collecting a lot of items which are mostly pointless, but not quite, I figured why not start the, kind of basis for a insane bamboo farm. So that's what we're doing in today's video. We'll be turning a few bamboo into a lot more than a few, and even have a little bit of an automated system. But again, this is meant to be the most efficient farm, just the most ridiculous, and again, we want to start this something which is going to be insanely. So just before I was about to upload this video, Minecraft actually tweeted saying that they will be giving $100,000 to the WWF to support pandas if we can place 10 million blocks in the game. So now, doing this build guide, following this along, and maybe doing it yourself, is literally a matter of saving pandas. You want to save pandas, don't you? So make sure that you follow this tutorial closely, because that's important. Okay, let's jump straight into this. Because the first step, if we want to do this with any real timeliness, is to be grabbing all of the bones that we can find. I have a lot of them in this area of my world. Because I kill skeletons, I get bones, and I don't really need bone meal anymore, which is really, really handy because now there's a new plant. I'm going to need a lot of bone meal. So 3 stacks of bones will equal 9 stacks of bone meal, which should mean we can take, again, just a single bone meal, just a single bamboo. We can get a little bit of bone meal from it by doing something as simple as this. Again, get 3 stacks of it, and then we can take that. Every time you use bone meal on bamboo, you get an extra bamboo, basically speaking, to be simple about this. So yeah, now instead of having 4 bamboo, I have 5, and every single bone meal effectively gives you a new one, which means we can go very, very quickly, and we can get this farm going from like, oh, this is a cute little thing you made over here, to something much, much more. So this is the area I've chosen for my insane bamboo farm. The sugarcane farm is just over there, the wheat farm is just over there, and the carrots and the potatoes, the beetroots, etc. So over here I figured would be a great place for it because it's a pretty long and thin stretch that again we can make as tall or as short as we want to. And yeah, I'm mostly going to be focusing on another creeper just blew up just over there. What is it with this world and creepers, sneaking up on me? But yeah, basically we're gonna be, just placing a bunch of bamboo in a row just like this, and then bone milling them, and then so on and so forth. So we have even more bamboo than just, having 50 bamboo is nice, but you know what's better than that? Having 100 bamboo. So yeah, we're gonna turn this into a much bigger bamboo farm. Okay, next up, we're going to make ourselves some pistons, and we're going to make ourselves some droppers. These things are going to be, some observers, I believe they are. These things are going to come in quite useful later on, so which make as many of them as we can have, which apparently is only 8 given my current inventory size. Let's get some more cobble. I'm always weirded out every time I remember that, like, cobblestone has a genuine use in certain redstone recipes, because I don't usually do much redstone in survival. So every time that I need to do some, it's always a bit like, I guess I need to go use some of my cobblestone. If only I had many, 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 many chests full of that. And it's a nice feeling when you have plenty of something that you need. So, big fan of that, at least. So, the fundamental principles of what we're trying to do here are actually quite simple. Bamboo can grow anywhere between about 11 and 16 blocks in Minecraft, which means all you have to do is, see where this height is, and then you can have fully grown bamboo. However, the most efficient way to farm it, or at least space-wise, is not to let it grow all the way up to 12 or 16, which is, again, a variable height that you're not sure where it's going to end up at, but it's instead to chop it down as soon as it gets past 2, because every time it gets to 2, what we can decide to do is remove this second block if we want to. It's faster than X, by the way, and then the stalk will remain, the stalk will keep growing, and it's like sugarcane in that it will keep on growing, so on and so forth. So if we want to be kind of efficient with this, again, we could do this the sugarcane farm way, which I'm sure will do most of the farming, and it's the more fun way to do things, but if you want to be more efficient, which for the fun of today's video, I guess we should be, what you want to do is you want to have a piston facing this way, so it can remove that block. Every single time we get to a certain height, all we need to do is we need to push it out, and then it's going to go onto the floor. However, to work out when it gets to that height, what you're going to want to have is an observer block. So you place your observer block just up here, as you can see, up the other way around, so that the eyes are looking, and then the things like that. So you want to place your observer block just like this. Again, in my head, I like to call it like the face and the, the opposite end of the body to the face, if you know what I mean. When I look at that, when you own cats, you know what you're seeing when you see that. So with that said, you can basically see it's like, the observer block looks at it, and then you just hook that up to the piston very, very simply, and then boom, you've got yourself an automatic bamboo farm. As soon as it gets to 2 blocks, it cuts itself down, and then you can use this exact same concept to just over and over again have a bunch of them in a row, which automatically chop themselves down once they get to 3 blocks. So once they get to 3, they go back down to 1, and then you get 2 bamboo, and you can do this all the way along a row. So the system for linking any one of these droppers to any one of these pistons is as simple as just having a block behind it. Again, we can use any block, but for now, just to keep things simple, we'll use dirt. And now that means that when any of these blocks get to free, except when it does it when it's not hooked up, when it gets to free blocks and it's connected, all of the pistons which are connected will push it out, and it will give you a bunch of bamboo flying all over the place. Boom! Automatic bamboo farm, or if you want, you can just leave it as a manual one. You can do both at the same time. You can do one or the other. I personally, there's a bit more charm to having the bamboo forest, which you occasionally chop down. But if you don't want it to be a manual job, if you're the sort of person who's like, I want to leave it and then come back and have a lot of furnace fuel, because one of the great things about bamboo is it can be used in various ways, such as the furnace thing we'll mention, is that what you want to do is you want to either go automatic or non-automatic, depending on where you want to be with this. It's just personally, I've always found more charm in the semi-automatic farms. The farms you actually chop down yourself, but if that's not you, if you don't want to be a farmer, if you play Minecraft because you prefer building or something else in the game that isn't farming, then I guess, I can kind of understand where you're coming from. So I know this sounds really weird, but I'd be honestly lying if I said a part of me didn't enjoy the farming in Minecraft and didn't find it to be one of the major draws in the game, because there is something super satisfying about making, whether it's, the most efficient farm, whether you love to just be like, okay, let's, keep the farm going, or whether it's the fact that it's like continuous growth. You know how games like Cookie Clicker are so fun because you're just there, you're addicted, even though you know the gameplay is kind of garbage, and it's like, why am I enjoying this? What is wrong with me? It's something that I feel like is just kind of programmed into you. So in a similar way, it's fun to take this because every single time, you're kind of like investing in yourself, and over again, you can make it better and better. The more, bamboo you harvest, the more bamboo you have to harvest. It's a really fun thing. Anyway, by the way, we're going to move now from having dirt, which is kind of a basic way of doing things, to having quartz instead. I have so much quartz from my never quartz mining trips that I just figured, we're going to have to use these in some way, and one way to use it is, it's to use it to make these little slabs right here. So yeah, using slabs is a bit more, space efficient and quartz efficient, I guess, but it means that also, it will just look a little bit better, a little bit classier, and we just have a huge row of that, which we then cover in redstone, because fun fact, as long as it is a top half slab, then you can place redstone on there, and it will work just fine, as well as having benefits if there's stuff nearby it, and yeah, you can now hook up all of these observers up to the redstone, and it doesn't matter that we've got over 13 blocks in a row, because every dropper only needs to activate the few redstone blocks around it. Or in fact, they don't need to activate the ones around it, it just doesn't matter if they do. I think in a more efficient system, you wouldn't want them to, but again, we're not going for the perfect system, we're going for a nice, easy, and working full-on system. So, easy as that. Okay, we've hooked up the system, a little bit too late for some of the bamboo vines, but you'll see as soon as any one of these goes above the limit, something magical is going to happen. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it happen with so many faces staring at me. By the way, it turned out I lied when I said that the redstone would still... By the way, it turned out that I was slightly mistaken when I said that having half slabs doesn't affect anything. It will affect the connectivity to the piston in this case, and given what we're trying to be somewhat efficient, we'll just place the second half slab underneath, so it's two quartz slabs together. Maybe at some point that will cause problems, but now, if we just reconfirm it works, which should be easy enough, just place some bamboo there until it grows up. There you can see, everything goes wonderfully. Wonderful. Just like that, we get a bunch of bamboo flying all over the place. So let's try this one again. Let's wait for this to happen naturally, and let's actually make this work. So yeah, let's place all these blocks. Hey, there we go. So it started raining, which ruined the illusion. Whatever, you get the point. So now we just have an automatic system where bamboo just kind of, happens by itself. It farms itself, but there is a key kind of second element to this, which is collecting the bamboo. So there are a few ways you can kind of work around this. You can have just water, the old school way, where you dig yourself a huge trench along the ground, so the water flows from one direction to another. We could use some hoppers on the ground, or we can use a hopper minecart system, which, it's the most efficient system. The problem is I just don't have any iron because, I lost it all somewhat recently. So I guess what we'll do instead is we'll find some iron and we'll try and make like a really basic version of it, but not too much because it'll make me sad otherwise. Iron is also the reason I can't make more pistons, by the way. It's a real tragedy, like the early days of this project are being hamstrung by the amount of iron I can find, which is just not very much. Okay, I've literally started just going mining for a bit because I have such an iron shortage right now that we'll just find some iron that I forgot to mine earlier, back when, it wasn't so valuable to me, many years ago, before all these uses for irons really started to come about. So I'll just find some iron and then we'll use that to make a minecart hopper. Okay, so I found a bunch of iron, or at least enough to make the system functionally work until we get much more iron later. So we're gonna, take enough iron to make ourselves a hopper, which we've now done, which is a chest and 5 iron. And then you need to add another 5 iron to that because, this is just an iron-hungry system. Like I said, Minecraft, especially post-Redstone update, is very iron-hungry. And you want to take your hopper, you want to take your minecart, and you combine them together to make this thing right here. Again, this seems like a fairly small addition. You might be like, I mean, is this really so helpful? But if you haven't seen this technique before, it's a pretty useful one to have. And again, I've never got one in survival in this world because I haven't really ever needed one. And if I'm being honest, I don't need one right now. It's just if I make a system from scratch, it might as well involve that. So now the plan is quite simple. We just want to dig a giant trench, 2 blocks deep, just in front of this stuff. We're going to uncover a lot of holes we've dug it before, and we're going to get a lot of dirt from this, so this is kind of handy. We just want to make a giant trench that looks like this, that's at least 2 blocks deep. You might want to put it 3 blocks deep in some place for power rails, but we'll just keep things simple, and we'll say, look, we'll make a giant hole that looks something like this, okay? Now, is that quite easy? It is, right? Now we're going to place down mostly rail along all of this with the occasional powered rail. Again, it doesn't matter really too much what the speed of your cart is. You can perfectly optimize it later. But just for now, assume okay, have some amount of speed going on in there. We're going to have way too many powered rails because on Bedrock, the minecarts go a lot slower. So just to make sure nothing goes wrong because it's annoying to fix it later, you can it's better to include more power than not if you have enough powered rails anyway. But if you don't, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, just make yourself a big old system like this. And then make sure it has some form of loop somewhere in the track. Again, ideally we're going to have this be like a perfect zigzag later. We can really work on this. But for now, to keep the concept simple, we'll just have it loop round onto itself. Now make sure you power up all the powered rails that you left somewhere along the side. Again, you can do it underneath, you can do it on the side, you can do it using levers, you can do it any way. Everyone who does redstone has their own preference on this stuff. I like doing things the most basic way possible, and a stick in redstone is very, very basic and easy to get, in my opinion. Have your own thing. Also, both ends need to be in a closed loop, but again, we'll do that later. For now, let's take our minecart off hopper, and let's make sure that it does go along the track, and also make sure there's no sheep that have somehow got along the line. That's not good either. Anyway, as you can see, now the hopper's going to go around, or it should go around. It's going to pick up anything that goes past it, that is item-based, and then it should do a loop and come back around this way. There you can see, we've made a perfect loop-closed system where the hopper will go from one end to another, to the other, and so on and so forth. And again, just to keep things simple, what we're going to do is we're going to loop it on both ends, even though, it's quite easily arguable that it's more effective to have a zigzag, and we are going to have a zigzag system later. For now, we're just going to have the minecart rail loop on itself. And just like this, now both sides of the minecart hopper will loop round perfectly, which means if we leave the hopper to go, it's going to keep on going back and forth. You might say, okay, this is a good enough system. What's the plan? Is the goal to have the stuff just drop on the tracks and then the hopper picks it up? And that's actually one way you can do this. It's a fairly easy system, honestly. Just have the hopper pick it up. If you want to be lazy, okay, this one. Oh, I see the problem here. By default, it always goes in the, north direction instead of to the south when it does this, the southeast rule, I guess. So we need to make a better system to make it loop back round onto itself. An easy way to do this, in my opinion, is just to have the track go around the other way like this, and boom, just like that. Now you've got a system that loops round onto itself, because as you can see, it goes round the bend, goes up, round, etc. There you go. Now we've got a hopper, which will go perfectly round, and this is perfect by itself. Honestly, if you wanted to leave a big trench here, you could, but personally, I like that, one of my favorite little mini mechanics to abuse in Minecraft is the fact that if you have half slabs, a hopper can pick up anything that's in the block above it, including anything that's on top of a half slab because of the way that things work. So even if we place half slabs all along this, it hides the mechanics from view, again, especially if you, keep the hopper stuff somewhere out of view as well, but it hides what's actually happening from view, but it means it looks like you have these magic just pads on the floor that are being, automatically absorbed. So yeah, just like this, we place all of these along here, all the way along where the hoppers are, and you'll see what actually ends up happening. As the minecart goes past, it just magically picks them up. It looks really, really bizarre. Again, let's throw some stuff down just to prove this works. It looks really bizarre when you see it, like there's 21 bamboo on the floor, and, every time the hopper goes past, it just absorbs it. It's super, super strange, but it is something that's possible because of how minecart hoppers work. I really like it personally. It's a handy little thing to know. And now, with that in mind, we've got ourselves the basic part of the system locked down. We know the minecart rail will work. We can cover this as much as we like. And again, later we can expand the system. It's just right now we have a real rail shortage, a real iron shortage as a whole. So for now, you get the proof of concept, what's going on here. So now let's talk about how you can expand this, because having having 50 plants in a row with more pistons as we can slowly expand them, it's going to be great. But if you want to make this taller, bigger, this is just a, a bamboo farm. This gives you a reasonable amount of bamboo. You asked for an insane bamboo farm. How do you make one of those? And the answer here is actually quite simple, because what you want to do is about 3 blocks back from the previous one, or with 3 blocks in between, I should say, just over where this, current dropper is. You want to make another stack of these, and then you can do the exact same thing, but in reverse, using the same redstone even. And yeah, this is how you make it, bigger and more compact. You can do this as many times as you want. It's like a loopable system, but for every 5 blocks, you get 2 automatic bamboo farms. Again, technically speaking, it's a much more efficient density method just to have a bunch of bamboo this whole time. Oh, there's a creeper trapped in there, but this whole time we've been growing that just to prove that it is in fact more popular. However, you can see that this is like one of your systems. Oh, look, there's a parrot in there as well. It's a cute little fun thing you can in fact do, and it is obviously going to look a lot better when it's done, and it's going to be easier to harvest and all these sorts of things. But if you want it to be automatic to harvest instead of easy to harvest, what you want to do instead is have this system right here, where again we just have bamboo going all the way up here, and then on top of this, again, we can loop the whole thing again, so we have the exact opposite but on the other side. So on this side of the redstone, we're going to have our pistons face this way, and then our, our droppers, our reservers, sorry, face the other way. I don't know why I get these blocks mixed up, but as you can see, just like that, you place them like that, and then the exact same thing can happen, where whenever one bamboo grows stronger, your pistons will activate. You can do that, and it basically means that in just a 3-block closed system, again, these only grow taller because there's nothing stopping them from growing, but you can basically make this the max height anything can grow to, which means in the block above this, you can then place another block of dirt, and the best bit about this is it's more efficient in terms of that same minecart of a hopper will keep on working regardless of that, and then you can do the exact same thing, loop and repeat. So you have this going all the way over here, then a block above this you're going to have a piston, and then so on and so forth. I hope you see the concept here. And just in case that wasn't very clear, because I know some, the great thing about YouTube videos is you can show. It's like show and tell, but wait, I guess it's like, yeah, show and tell, instead of just tell, like you'd get on the radio or from a friend at the, I'm not sure where people hear about designs like that, but let's actually show it is the point I'm trying to get across with my very bad set of words. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a little layer up here. It's not going to be the most efficient or effective, or it's only here as a proof of concept. But again, basically, this is where the bamboo is going to be planted. Then a block up from the bamboo, we're going to have our pistons, of course. So what we want to do is we want to have the pistons be out. Pistons are going to face the same way, and then the reverse that way, we're going to have the observers. It gets trickier to build at this point. Maybe some scaffold would be useful. If only there was a wonderful use for scaffolding in Minecraft. If only there was an easy way to get scaffolding in Minecraft. I mean, there'd have to be a tutorial on how to get a lot of whatever scaffolding made of. It's made of string and what? Ooh, I don't even know. Is it bamboo? Oh, I have a bamboo farm tutorial I can recommend to you. Maybe use that scaffolding to help you do simple stuff like this, which is actually giving me a tiny bit of difficulty here. But yeah, you just want to do the exact same thing as we basically did before. So then you want to place your observers facing this way. You have a long line of observers like this. You have a long line of pistons like that. And then in the middle, you have your block of your choice, which in my case, I like quartz. I have a lot of it anyway. So we just place our quartz all the way along like this. And then boom, we place some redstone on there. The exact same thing can be true. And you can do this all the way you like. Obviously, it gets slightly less efficient with every layer you add, because the problem is some of that bamboo is going to hit the dirt down here. Some of the bamboo is going to go too far. It's going to just go skyrocketing out there. You can deal with these things in their own different ways, or you can just accept, like, loss is a thing. In the retail industry, there's something called shrinkage. Basically, every company just accepts that, look, when you sell products, sometimes people steal it. Sometimes it's your employees. Sometimes it's not your, like, someone is always going to steal some amount. It's a dangerous thought, but it's also kind of the real thought that is used most of the time. And you just got to accept it, like, okay, you can't get all the bamboo in the world. You can just get most of it. And yeah, with that kind of in mind, you can use a basic system to basically have the exact same thing over and over again. Side note, I don't think I've noticed this till just now, but there's a little arrow on top of the observers, which points where the input to the output is. That's a handy thing to see in case the face and the unmentionable are not enough for you. Then maybe the little arrow on the top will help you out there. That's a nice little feature. But yeah, basically you can now repeat this as many times as you like. There's going to be more and more loss, more and more shrinkage, more and more whatever you want to call it as you go to higher layers. However, you get more efficient with the the expensive stuff, because up here you just need a block of your choice, some redstone, admittedly some iron in the pistons, but it's mostly fairly cheap things to make. Like observers aren't crazy hard to make if you have a lot of quartz in particular, but you just want to now copy the exact same pattern over and over and over again when you get a lot of bamboo, or if it's growing because you haven't quite chopped it down yet. You can use said bamboo, and you can now use it to expand the farm by having a second layer of bamboo, and then again, so on and so forth. It's a pretty repeatable process from this point. I think there's nothing that's too unique you want to make. Like, again, you want to, every time you have a new layer of this, you want to make sure you've got a proper way to collect it all. But again, now you've got yourself a near infinite source of bamboo. Even this much, you know, just the row I've got already, it's about 50 blocks wide. If it's 2 blocks high, and if it's like, if you got 2 sets of these, you've got like 200 bamboo plants, which will be producing a pretty consistent set of bamboo every single hour. So honestly, you could call it quits here, and you know, like, I don't think anyone would hate you too much for that. It would still be a pretty effective system. However, again, we're going not just for a regular farm. I want this to be a bigger and bigger and bigger farm that we work with over and over again. So, you know, and all the way to sky height maybe one day. So that's why, as part of this, I feel like instead of just having the pure basics, we're going to keep on going up and up and up. We're going to have more and more and more layers, and that's how you make a farm go from a regular farm to an insane farm. And yeah, that's something that we'll hopefully be working on over the course of Let's Play. I'm looking forward to playing around with that. However, there's now the big concept, the big thing you want to wonder, which is, of course, like, okay, now we've got bamboo, like stacks and stacks and stacks of it, apparently. It's all collecting, both over here and also in my inventory, and also when the minecart hopper comes around, I'm sure it's going to be full almost, so let's wait for it, and then let's take out all the bamboo there. So you got yourself a whole bunch of bamboo. I think it's actually stuck in there. Oh, no, okay, I stopped it now. Okay, so you got yourself a whole bunch of bamboo. Okay, it's still going down there. See, that's the clever thing. The minecart hopper, it's not visible most of the time. And if you don't have this stuff in here, this is just because I don't have a closed loop yet, then you can basically make it entirely invisible, entirely hidden from you. But yeah, we're just going to take our bamboo out. We got 16 so far, which is impressive for 10 minutes of only 20 you know, pistons, and still losing some going on the floor here and there. But yeah, getting 20 bamboo, actually quite impressive given the time scale. And yeah, now you can just use that to plant more, repeat, etc, etc. But the big question is like, okay, you got so much bamboo, you've got it just coming out of all of your different you know, places. What do we do with all of this bamboo? We've got so much of it, we know we can do something with it, right? Because bamboo is useful. Obviously, it's darn it. Obviously, it's useful for scaffolding. Obviously, you want to use it to make that. But assuming you've got enough scaffolding, assuming that like 1 stack of scaffolding was enough, because every bamboo equals 1 scaffolding. When you combine 6 bamboo with 1, you know, string, you get 6 scaffolding. If you have enough scaffolding, or let's just say you don't care about scaffolding for whatever reason, it's like, so what do you do now then? What's the kind of answer to this one? And the answer to that is that bamboo is a seriously useful block because 1, you can collect lots of it, and then you can look at it. That's great. 2, you can breed pandas with it, so that's potentially useful. And 3, you know, assuming you've got all the scaffolding in the world, again, that's a key clarification here. Assuming you've got all the scaffolding in the world, then you can start to use bamboo as a furnace fuel source. So right now, again, I've got a shortage of a lot of different things. I lost a lot as I'm recording this, and basically, you know, to make my furnace go, because I have some things in there, let's say, one of the solutions is to use bamboo. Bamboo is a very inefficient furnace fuel per item, but if you have stacks of this, if you have chests full of this, which you can easily get set up, again, especially if once you have a better you know, system for collection and you have even more bamboo, if you have chests and chests and chests full of this, what you can actually do, if we have a thing full of this maybe, is you can throw the bamboo in there, and you can use this as a way to smelt stuff. Let's say you got some gold ore you want to smelt. All you have to do is throw in your gold with the bamboo. And again, it's quite inefficient per bamboo, but if you have a way to feed the bamboo in there, or you're just willing to put it in there, every 64 bamboo will smelt 32 items, which is pretty good, honestly. Like the fact that you get 32, oh, it smelts apparently 16 items, my bad on that maths right there, but you get 16 items smelted per stack, which means you have to feed a lot in there. You have to probably have a hopper system or something like that, but it means that you can very easily smelt all of your things using just bamboo. It's not the best in terms of how much effort it requires, but it's the best in terms of the fact that you can have an entirely sustainable resource that doesn't require mining, doesn't require filling up buckets of lava, doesn't require any of these things. But the thing I love about this type of farm, the thing I love about any farm that's simply reproducible without any real extra resources, is every bamboo you get is another bamboo plant you can grow, which will eventually give you more bamboo, which is another bamboo plant, or it can be just a source of wealth in terms of, you know, like the amount of items you store in a chest maybe, or wealth in terms of how much you can smelt. But it's still kind of great that like something as simple as this, just a small farm you can hook up, kind of works a bit like, again, a cookie clicker style game or whatever. And if you like games that are like that, if you're really interested in your cookie clickers, then boom, now you can play that in Minecraft. Look how wonderful that is. So yeah, this is what we're going to be doing from now on out, and I would, you know, record a lot of that in today's video. So that would take a long time, of course, so we're not going to be doing it all in today's video. It's going to be a big project, which is going to take many, many hours to get from here, but now you see how this works. You can see how you can make one yourself really quite easily. I know there are other systems out there that are more effective. If you're in creative, you can have way more fun with it than this, but I like to play survival. I like to play survival and have fun, and this is my personal personal favorite balance between fun, technological, while also being easy to reproduce. Again, being easy to reproduce is a key part of having fun in this to me, and if that's the case for you too, then now you know how you can do that. This is the farm so far, and let me know if you want to see like a part 2 where we either, like, work on it a bunch, or when it's finished, maybe you want to see the finalized thing, because I intend for this to go higher and higher and higher. Again, as soon as we get some iron sorted so we can actually build stuff at a pretty decent rate. With that said though, I hope you did all enjoy today's video. You can like it if you did like it, because it helps out the channel a lot. Lets us know you do like seeing the bamboo farm. Maybe you learned something from today's video. Maybe you didn't like the bamboo farm thing, but you're like, now I know about how retail losses are a thing, and now it's okay for me to steal. By the way, not okay for you to steal. It's a whole moral quandary you should get into sometime. But thank you very much for watching today's video. I hope you did all enjoy it. You can like it if you liked it. You can share if you liked it. Let me know your thought in the comments down below, because again, this is a farm I'm really excited to start, both in the terms of just having a bunch of it laying down on the ground. Again, it looks so cool seeing a huge bamboo forest. It's actually kind of tricky to walk through, so it can be used in building in a lot of different ways, which I think is kind of fun. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button, because it feeds my ego. It doesn't actually help on YouTube anymore, but what does help on YouTube is hitting the notification bell, so you see more of these videos every single day on your homepage, so you can keep up to date with how the bamboo farm goes from here on out, because it's like my baby. I'm looking forward to seeing it grow up and be a strong, independent bamboo farm. I'm not even sure. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.